Sunday call. We're back on track every Sunday at 2 o'clock. Please share this place to come and to be together with family and with friends, and tell people so we can all hold a high vibe for the planet as we are experiencing a lot of turbulence around the globe right now. It's so important to hold a higher vision and to stay together. All right. So we're going to talk to Raphael about that, tap into what's going on from a much larger global, cosmic, galactic perspective, and what it is that we can do to hold more light and to bring more light to ourselves during these times. I also want to remind you that if you are in any of our memberships, Light Worker membership, or the I Am That I Am Presence membership, Light Code memberships, that you have access to Casey on Thursday mornings at 9 o'clock for an hour and a half. And I know sometimes we seek therapy, or we want to get coaching or help, and this is part of your membership. It's included. It's like really fabulous. You might have something coming up for you and you just need to talk it through, and he's amazing at working you through and seeing new perspectives and clearing the energy. And then you get to listen to other people, what they're going through. And a lot of times you might have something that's come up for you, and by listening to other people in the group, it brings a lot of healing to you. So sometimes we forget that we have access to that. So I want to make sure that you access that on Thursday mornings. And also with that, you get to do card readings with me with the Master Ascension Light Codes, where you say, hey, I'm wondering if I should move, or what's going on with this, or something happened with my partner, or I'm thinking about this new career, or whatever. And we can tune in together. Obviously, the answers are within you, but I can support you by connecting with the light codes. The light codes come up and they kind of help support you on your journey. So when you see that email that there's a card thing or something working with Casey, in addition to what we do in class, jump on those calls and use that, like access that energy. Okay. So today I'm going to channel the angel Raphael. If this is your first time on the call, obviously my name's Kelly. I have been channeling an angel for a really long time. I was at a wedding last night and somebody asked me, how did you start to channel? And I was telling her the story. And when I think back on it, I think really how miraculous and special that unfolding was, and that it's accessible. She's like, oh, well, you just have a gift. And I'm like, no, we all have access to this divine energy and light and love. It radiates all around us. And as we're going through this awakening process, it's so much more accessible. It just requires us to access its energy. So we're going to tune in about that and how you guys can access more of that today. And so when I channel, if you haven't been on the call before, I'm sure most of you have, I make these sounds and sometimes they disrupt the microphone. So I turn off my mic while I tone, and I bring Raphael's energy, which is Angel Raphael, in. And Casey is here co-hosting with me, and he will ask questions. If you guys have questions that you want to pop in the chat, regarding what's going on in the world, please feel free to do that, and perhaps he can ask them along the way. And then we'll go into some type of an activation with Raphael to activate more light in our body. Lots of energy around, and we've got this big full moon. We always have a full moon coming, right? It always seems like it's such a big deal. But when we're going through a big global conflict, the full moon can amplify things. And so I would like us to gather if we can on Thursday. I'm going to come up with a time. It's just occurred to me as I'm sitting here that we should be together for that, holding energy. And I'll send out an email with a time. If you're available on Thursday, let's gather. All right. Okay. Is this channeling Saint Germain? Saint Germain is here and will definitely come in along with whoever else shows up. The Syrian elders are here. The angelic teams are around. We're playing with Merlin in the light codes right now. His energy kind of switches back and forth from him to Saint Germain. It's a similar energy, so that might come in. and we'll just see what happens. Of course, I'm happy to answer. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking a little crazy today. I was at a wedding late, dancing up a storm, looking crazy. All right, here we go. I'm going to turn off the mic. I'll be right back. And if you can, put on your cameras, then I can see all your beautiful faces. I love that. All right, here we go.
Hello.
Oh, hello,
Hello.
hello, hello,
Hello.
hello,
Hello.
hello, hello. We are very delighted, as always, to be here. Perhaps you have heard enough from us now, but we continue to bring our energy and to drop into this dense field of earth to bring forth our love for all of you and to remind you how beautiful you are and how magnificent you are, in a willingness to fully love yourself. Inviting you right now just to bring your hand or both hands to your heart, taking in a nice deep breath. And breathing in love, attuning to the I am that I am presence, the larger aspect of who it is that you are, and the remembering and awakening of your own divinity. As you love yourself and accept yourself, expanding compassion. We are here today to bring in a softening, for the edges are a bit edgy in all of you and around you collectively and on the earth itself. But we want you to know that you are not alone, that we are here, and when we speak of this vibration or energy of we want you to attune to that, to what is perceived from your perspective in the unseen world, starting to bring the unseen into the seen, beginning to look beyond that of the mind, beyond that of the form in which you have been operating in, as that operating system is dissolving, that operating system is collapsing. Many of you speak of this operating system as the matrix. It is collectively your energetic imprint and your thought processes, and it is glitching quite rapidly. And in doing so, there are energies that would like to keep the curtain up, for they enjoy working behind the scenes. And it is fun to control the masses from behind the curtain. And so they have pulled out many stops and many, many beautiful and interesting stories. They are quite funny, these stories. They may be perceived as scary, but they are narratives and stories that are being projected upon the screen of this energetic formation of collective and cultural ways of seeing and being. And it is that while they are projecting this energy, they are giving off a vibration. And this vibration is dense, and it is filled and expanding fear, as fear is like a vapor of energy that is blanketing the planet. And we are here today to support you in attuning to some other frequency, to another narrative, to another story, and to begin to remember why you are here. Bringing your hand to your heart and attuning to it, asking, Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Why am I here? Why did I choose to arrive and to be here in this body on earth now? And who is it that I truly am? And how may I serve in this collective shift and transformation as you are bridging the old and the new? How may I be a conduit of light? How may I be a conduit of love? How may I see and perceive from a larger perspective of conscious awareness? Tuning in and breathing, asking to align with awareness itself. What is awareness? Can you find awareness? Where is it? Is awareness around you? Is awareness inside of you? Are you awareness? And can you be aware of awareness itself? Attuning to this vibration and energy, beginning to soften your field. As we are softening your field, and many beings are here as they are transmitting the vibration, as it is passing through the vessel and the energetic field of Kelly, it is emanating through the field and attuning to all of you like branches of light that are interconnecting and bounding you together in a field of vibrational energy based in the frequency of love. All of these different fields are operating around the globe, and there are many now in this particular moment that are emanating fear. But you may rise above this vibration and emanate something else, remembering that the power of the light that resides within you and the choice that you make, depending on where you are choosing to place your energy and your attention, expands that, and it interweaves and interconnects to all other living beings and all energy around the globe, projecting a particular vibrational field that becomes your reality. And as you become more and more conscious and aware of that, you may begin to be choosing collectively something else. With that, we can talk to you now about whatever you're wanting to talk about, but then we would deeply like to attune you to the higher parts of self that are operating not only in other dimensions, but what might be perceived from your perspective as the future. For your future selves, in many ways, are present in here today, for you are at a critical junction and point in history. A decision-making process is unfolding, and we are here from other dimensional realms. You perceive us as very far and distant out into the galactic constellations and star systems, and yet we are right here with you. For the dimensions in your perception are distant, but yet they collapse in an interweaving way within the nodules of light that move and spin energetically within your own being into your own DNA. This DNA is reactivating itself into a new remembering, and as doing so, it is creating a lot of change and shifting, and this bound energy is arising on the planet, and in doing so, it is provoking and poking at old energies that are deeply afraid of the collapse of its control, and in doing so are holding on very tightly. But do not worry, for your energy is stronger, and you can emanate and shift this through the compassion and the yielding opportunity to attune to and to perceive things from a perspective that is not necessarily given to you as an option on the menu to pick, but is selective and a special for the day that is here in a new way of perceiving as you move through new pinpoints that open the lens wider, and you get to perceive from places that are operating not in the collective stacking of consciousness, but in the collective unity of all that is. And so, with that, hello.
Hello, Raphael. So we're entering this time where we're going to be making these decisions. And so when making decisions, we want to be as informed as we possibly can and to be as open-hearted to the possibilities as we possibly can. And so what perspective can you give us to help us understand what is the decision that is most aligned with love, and how can we discern if our action is aligned with love truly and purely and is in service of the highest good of all, or if it might be fear in disguise?
Oh, well, you must inform yourself from the information database that is before you, that is operating in the system that is connected with the heart center. For there is a dismantling occurring in the operating system based in hierarchy and based in the brain in which it formulated information from the mind itself. When you start to hook the energy field from the heart into the field that is all around you, and you begin to witness or perceive the field as a living organism of creation itself, you align with that creation energy. If that energy is there to multiply and expand through creation itself, then it is in alignment with the heart center to open up spaciousness in the awareness of who you are. But if you are attuning to the energy in a different formation that is based in consuming or in the vibration of scarcity or the energy of fear itself, it will align you with this old way of being and paradigm in which you will find yourself hooked into stories and narratives. The characters and the roles of those stories will change. The heroes and the victims will move around, but the stories will continue to repeat oneself. And so you begin to operate not from the place of the story, but rather from a state of awareness of creation and the energetic field of light that moves through all creation itself, and begin to recognize that you, as the observer, when attuning to that field of creation itself collectively, begin to birth the visualization or the reality, perhaps, of a new experience collectively. And that is what is occurring now. So when you perceive what is happening and you hook into it, which is emanating scarcity and fear consciousness, and you attune to that frequency, you simply bind yourself to it and expand upon it, because it is bound energy that is being freed through violent acts and through different ways of perception. And so it is that you can move beyond that into higher frequencies through awareness, meaning releasing that of your perception that is coming from the mind of how something should be, or an opinion around how it is, or a side of being right or wrong, or looking at it through that perspective of duality, but rather instead to simply be conscious awareness as you are simply watching the story in its unfolding. From a perspective of awareness, what begins to happen is the story itself that is been projected upon the screen that is in front of you begins to move in a way in which you begin to see it differently. You begin to drop the narrative and begin to seep in behind it, and you begin to see the energy that resides there. And whether that is something that is happening globally or something that is happening in your own human experience, as you become the conscious, loving witness of awareness in acknowledgement of what is and acceptance that it begins to collapse whatever it is that is projecting itself that may be radiated or hooked into frequencies that are linked to fear within your own being. And you begin to see the formation of where it was born in itself, creation itself, and you begin to tap into that field with loving awareness and compassion. It begins to shift and to change that energy as it moves into more of a synchronistic vibration that aligns with higher frequencies that begin to build upon themselves and project within your reality something new. And so, from a larger and global perspective, what is being asked of you is to perceive what is occurring and unfolding from a new perspective, and to take the perspective of any energy that is bound or wound in a particular viewpoint or understanding, even if it appears to be that is against something that was, and to simply be the witness of it.
Thank you, Raphael. And so I think one of the questions that we need to ask is what causes us to want to, on an unconscious level, attach to a narrative? Because maybe if we can become aware of our need to find a narrative, we can then have an easier time remaining neutral from the narrative, being that loving observer.
Well, it is that you are seeking more energy. And so energy is everything, and one is fed by certain dramas and traumas. If there is strong bound up energy and it is inflicted with a lot of violence or trauma or emotion, that energy frees itself. It is a way to release that energy and utilize that energy for something else, whether you label that energy then to be used as something good or bad. It is an explosion and an expansiveness of energy. But when you begin to recognize that you do not need to push force into the bound energy in order to release it, but that you can simply bring compassion to the bound energy to release it, it actually releases more. But you have been deeply programmed to release bound energy by consuming the energy and placing force within it for its expansiveness to feed upon itself. And so you are so deeply rooted in this narrative and idea of connecting, you become addicted to it as a way to feed on it. It is a feeding on the program itself, and it keeps you locked in what many of you call this way of perception or matrix. But when you begin to override it with a larger, more expanded, compassionate heart for whatever is arising with conscious awareness, acknowledgement, and acceptance, what begins to take place is that you then are the energy in itself that is moving the vibration in whatever direction you are wanting to move it in for your own experience. And so the invitation that is being arisen and is coming up, and that many now across the globe are beginning to do as this force has come in to release this energy, is that when enough of you choose to bring a large and expanded compassionate heart as your primary focus over a vibration of expanded fear, then the need for the narrative to unfold no longer exists, and the solution and the peace will reign and rise. But it would require a larger amount of compassionate energy that is more expanded than the fear energy. And right now, the fear energy is bigger than the energy of compassion, and the energy of right and wrong, and the energy of sides is also larger than the vibration of compassion. And so the invitation is that larger numbers gather together across the globe in communities, in churches, in mosques, in temples, to hold large expanded energies or spheres that we perceive them such as, with compassion, without an agenda, not even an agenda for peace, no agenda at all, no conscious intent other than expanded compassion and awareness and unification. And as that happens, that energy will begin to widen and begin to become larger than the vibration of the bound energy that has been expelled through the violent acts. And that is when there will be what would be perceived as miraculous shifts and changes that come out in your perception from nowhere, and things begin to settle and dissolve. The impossible then becomes healed. And so one of the reasons for this conflict that is like a cancer growth on the globe that is expanding in great violence is that it appears that there is no solution, that it is something that has no answer. And that is because the answer here cannot be derived nor can be found from the narratives and the way and perception of thinking in which it was created from. It can only come from an energetic shift collectively that rises from compassion and unity from a heart that operates from a new field of light around the planet. And so this is this beautiful opportunity for this metamorphosis and shifting from the perspective of a certain energetic field that reigned across your globe for a long period of time, that is ushering in something else. As more energy and more light is shown upon it, it can be shifted through the perception of this vibrational energetic passion that comes from compassion. And so it is required and asked upon all of you to continue to not engage in the story or in the argument or in the discussion or in what is right or what is wrong or who is good or who is bad, but to simply not even have a projection for a particular outcome, but simply to hold awareness and compassion.
Thank you, Raphael. And so, in this process of moving into true compassion, I think people want to have a little bit more of a definition of what you mean when you say compassion, because in my experience, the more compassionate I've become to other people, not internally, but to other people, I might seem more emotionally distant to the issue. And the people who are actually emotionally hijacked are the ones that are saying that they're more compassionate, right? And I have compassion for them and their pain. And so I'm wondering if you could really define compassion for us and what that looks like, and how, if we're struggling with fear and anger and we're becoming emotionally hijacked by this situation, do we step into compassion for ourselves and others? And especially if we're surrounded by other people who are extremely hooked in to what is happening.
Oh, oh. Well, perhaps we can go through a process. There are many beings that are here today that would like to assist you with this, for this cannot be understood or felt from the linear mind or the thinking mind, the rational mind, for that is exactly what is needed to be unplugged from. For we cannot define compassion. You can only know it and feel it as you attune to the larger energetic field and parts of self that are perhaps residing in what you might perceive as other dimensional realities that come to share their love, light, and wisdom with you. For it is not something to be defined or to be explained with the native language of the words in which you have here, but to be felt. For you are being invited to feel and to experience and to attune to that which is beyond seen through form and matter, to what is known as the spaciousness in between, the invisible, the energy, the vibration that resides all around. So with that, we ask you to take a nice deep breath, to experience and be willing to receive information and love from parts of self that are perhaps operating in other realms. Taking a nice deep breath and coming into the presence of the here and now, asking you and inviting you to become aware of awareness itself, and to become aware of the energy field, the soup of energy that you are in now. See if you can begin to feel the energy all around you, the vibration that is moving through you, the waves that are you, the sense of your frequency, attuning to your own frequency. Begin to feel the frequency of what you think of as the matrix, a projected reality of cultural norms, expectations, ways of perceptions and beings, how you should think or should not think, and begin to attune to it as a screen almost in front of you, an energetic screen of reality that has been something that you attune to and have programmed your energetic field to from the moment you came into form through the birth canal as a child. These were expectations of you, how you should and should not behave or operate, what was good or bad, what was accepted about you, what traditions or norms you are related to within your culture or your family, the expectations that they have of you, of who you should be and how you should behave, what customs are around you and what you are supposed to or not supposed to do, how you are valued dependent upon that which is labeled in you around your education or the institution you went to, or the name that it carries, or the label of your identity or career, the status of your family and your financial wealth or lack of wealth, and how you identify with all of these narratives and stories and rules and ways of being that have held you in a certain cultural and vibrational pattern that has caused a sense of division, that has separated you in the way in which you observe self, I am greater or less than another, or more important or not as important as another. I am valuable or I am not valuable. And I do not have enough or I have enough, or others take from me or I take from them. I am here simply to gain something, to consume something, to be seen and valued, to be understood for who I am. And all of these different aspects around you that are feeding and identifying with you of who it is that you are in relationship to others, attuning to that field and recognizing where in your own body you are plugged into that. Perhaps you are deeply plugged into it through your throat, in your inability to share your authentic truth by fear that you will be ostracized or criticized, for it is not of the norm. Perhaps you are hooked in a different place in your third eye, in which you have projections and ability to see beyond the veil, connect with other energies and beings, but you do not share this with others simply due to the fear of judgment or scolding or others not believing you, and so you keep things to yourself. Perhaps you have beliefs and ideas about the world beyond, or certain political viewpoints that you do not share, for you perhaps are judged for that. Attuning to the places in which you abide to a way in which that you should be or act, and where perhaps you are plugged in. Perhaps you are plugged in from your solar plexus, giving your power to that of an identity of how things should look, how you should look, how your body should look, how your home should look, what your car should be like, and the identity of your power connected to consumption itself and the consuming of the idea of the material realm and world as it relates to and projects your value. Connecting to these different places and beginning to notice where, or if at all, you are hooked into these particular programs, and just simply shining light and awareness here, bringing awareness to this without judgment, awareness perhaps to where you find yourself stressed or in a big hurry to complete something, as if you complete it now or get it done, you will have arrived somewhere, that you will have accomplished something. Perhaps you have a goal to have a certain amount of something, and when that certain amount is present, you will feel satisfied. Attuning to these programs when something is finished or done, or when my body perhaps looks different or is healthier or stronger, then perhaps you'll feel that you have arrived. Continuing to move forward with a need to feed something inside of self, whether that be the actual consumption of energy in the form of goods themselves, or the consumption of something that you need to bring a projection into self to identify with it, that you feel and have arrived at a state of completeness. It is this dangling carrot that is always in front, and once you reach it, another coming up and surfacing that keeps you in the wheel, attached to this vibration of what is perceived and labeled as scarcity, something more always to gain, to get, or to consume, as you are consuming the energy and it is moving through you. We are asking you to recognize that you are the energy. There is no need to consume it because it has always been there. There is nothing to go and to strive for to get because it has always been there. It already is who you are. And yet, the paradigm of fear disconnected you from the recognition that there is no need to worry that there is not enough, for there always has been enough, and it always has been and will be provided for you as you align with the stream of its creation, the energy that creates all things. Creational energy is your birth given right, and you have rejected it. And so you are being asked to recognize that it is not something to get or to strive for, but that you already are all of it and more. And you are simply sitting in the soup of creation. Creation is you. It has always been you, and it is all around you. It cannot be separated from you because it is you. It is nothing to find because it is already there. Just as you came together from the sperm and the egg and began to form the energy of that vibration in which you did not need or have to figure out or create or strive for or fixed, moved through you and on its own, because the mind had not yet been attached to the matrix of survival and scarcity, programmed in this frequency of fear, it simply merged and occurred and took place in what was perceived then as miraculous, forming the most intricate and complex system that still cannot be duplicated, replicated, or born through the mental mind or through your ideas of science, because it is beyond you, but it is you. It is that energy that when you attune to by simply shedding a light upon it, because it is already there, and conscious and aware of it, it is always operating for your highest good, and it is always operating in a form that is evolving, for it is part of evolution and you're part of it. When you align to it, as if you're attuning to the molecular structure of your being or the perception of the double helix of the DNA itself, you find it is encoded with frequencies of energy and light. We call these energies and frequencies light codes, and these light codes get activated in you as you bring conscious awareness to them. And as they are activated, they begin to dissolve energetic blockages that are still hooked in to the vibration of separation. And as you begin to bring conscious awareness and light to them, expanded in this soup, there is nothing to do but to simply be in the allowing, as the urge of the vibration or energy itself will guide you, meaning that you will still move and act and do things and connect in a synchronistic manner with friends and family and people, even objectives and works and purposes, but you will do it from a place in which you are flowing and moving and attuned with the energy that is guiding you along this pathway that has been placed there as a signature or a roadmap for you to follow through your own evolution. And you no longer are fighting it and feeling that you have to make it or bring it into awareness, although you still take action and movement as you move with it and are guided by it, but it is no longer forced to unwind or to bring forth the bound energy into formation, because there is no fear any longer aligned to it or aware of it. Become conscious now of the energy that you are sitting in, that energy that brought you here while you are living, the same energy that is beating your heart right now, the same energy that is operating your whole physiology and physical form in matter. That attunement to that awareness is what is being asked of you now. And the dissolution and transformation of the connected cultural collective consciousness that right now is in the process of a metamorphosis shift and change as it is dissolving and you are moving beyond it into a deep remembering. Attune now to the energies around you and see if you can be aware of yourself in that perspective. There is a cord. Feel the cord at your belly button. You might want to place your hand there for a moment and begin to connect and attune to this energy. You are here on earth, experience and moving through these waves of vibration, and yet there is a larger aspect of you, a cord connected to a part of self that is operating in a higher dimension. You can begin to travel along this cord as if you're spiraling through dimensions and time, spiraling around and around and around, leading you to this expanded energy that is filled with light. I want you to take a moment now and to recognize a series of energies that are standing in front of you. These are tall, luminous, beautiful beings of light. Often we refer to them as elders from galactic communities, but to be honest, they are a part of you. You have been taught and programmed to be afraid of things that are not in your dimension, but these energies and beings are your sisters and brothers, but they are also other dimensional aspects of you. Begin to bring your awareness to them and their energy, for they are tall and luminous, and their hearts are open and wide, and they are radiating a bright light. If you feel comfortable and ready, you can attune to their frequency and feel the love that they radiate as they are shining a bright light on you now. Becoming aware that you are a sphere of light, begin to sense their energy and their love as they are bringing more awareness to the light around you. Can you sense and know that you are an orb of glowing light? Can you feel this energy around you? Are you able to allow them to project their light into your orb? Sense yourself in the orb of light, the buzzing energy all around you, and sense a projected light beaming bright inside your own orb. As this light comes in, it's beginning to shine light inside your orb, and you will see the waves of energy moving in your field, in your orb, and in that, you'll begin to notice places where the energy is incoherent. Perhaps there are places where the energy is not harmonized, or something is floating there, something dark or black, like a stone inside your field. Just allow this light to come in now. And as the light is coming in, allow it to shine on these different energetic patterns in your auric field and just be aware of them. You do not necessarily have to name them. They are still parts of self hooked into the old cultural way of being, and they are floating around. Just allow yourself to be conscious of this. It might be something you're afraid of. What are you afraid of? What is your biggest fear? Where is it sitting in your auric field? Can you see that it is just clogged or incoherent energy floating there? Can you allow the beings to shine light upon it? And in doing so, allowing the story to play itself out, for you to have conscious awareness of the fear itself. You are simply aware of awareness itself and aware of the floating energy that is connected to this fear. Perhaps you are aware of the color that it holds in your field. Perhaps it radiates a frequency or a sound. Perhaps you're aware that it is a particular shape. Perhaps it has a string that is connected to a part of your body, and perhaps that part of your body is expressing a symptom. Perhaps it is hooked to a part of your emotions, and that emotion is expressing itself in anger or stress, defensiveness, rage, deflection, tuning to that, just bringing awareness. Now another light is being shown, coming in and flashing like a large beaming flashlight that is so bright into your auric field, shining upon another area where perhaps there is a different fear in your field floating around. Notice this fear and allow the light to just come in and shine upon it. There is no judgment about the fear. It simply is an energy of incoherent energy in your auric field. Just allow the light to shine on it. And as it does so, bring your awareness there. What is it that is floating in your field? A fear that you are holding or harboring? Can you just bring awareness and allow the light to shine there? Can you acknowledge that that fear is there? Just acknowledging it is present and accepting that it is there. That's all that is being asked. You do not need to get rid of it or fix it or change it. It's just coming into your awareness. It is simply energy, aware of your whole field, allowing more light to come in as these beings of light are all surrounding you now, and they are placing their hands that are quite large on the sphere around you, and the light from the pyramids within their hands are projecting energy into your sphere, and the light inside of it is getting brighter and brighter, and you're seeing clearer and clearer this incoherent energy, or these bubbles or vibrations of fear that are swirling within your field, and you're simply aware that they are there. You begin to acknowledge that they are there and just accept them, that they are there. The light now is starting to intensify and get stronger and stronger as it is turning up its frequency, and you're starting to feel a sensation of buzzing coming in, where the light is moving very rapidly. And this light that is coming in is filled with a frequency of unconditional love for you, loving you in a way that you are in awe of this love. This is a kind of love that doesn't expect anything from you. It's not asking you to do anything or to be anyone. It's just acknowledging you. This energy is simply seeing you, all of you, all parts of you, and it is loving all of you, the incoherent parts, the parts connected to fear, all of the parts. It is loving you. Are you willing to receive and to allow and to accept this love coming in? Just allow and feel it pouring into your auric field, this sphere around you. You are receiving this love and beginning to surrender. Feel yourself starting to let go. Feel yourself beginning to melt. Feel yourself beginning to allow the resistance to drop, the need to figure it out to fall away. Just surrendering to what is, surrendering to this love and compassion that is surrounding you, that you are held in, this love that you have always been held in, this energy that has always been with you, this energy that if you would simply allow it, will move with you, will guide you, that you might bind yourself to and feel and know its love, that you can let go now of the need to try, and you can simply allow it to be with you, to guide you, for you know it, and you're allowing it back in. You're allowing it to be the presence of awareness in your experience, an awareness and a loving guiding force that is you and is witnessing everything. You may sense or feel it as the I am, that I am present. It is and always has been you. and you are surrendering and letting go and beginning to merge with this loving presence as you recognize there is nothing separating you from it other than your thinking mind. It has never been separate from you. It has always been there. And if you are willing to trust it and to surrender to it, its loving guiding force will merge with you because it is you, and you will flow with it as you float so gently and beautifully and dance through the myriads of color and symmetry, vibration and sound, dancing together through the cosmos and the universe as it unfolds in the most beautiful dance that you have ever seen, orchestrated by creation itself. You are the creation code, for how can you be anything other than that? Do you remember that? Can you feel and sense the sensation of this code of creation that is you? And are you willing to attune and merge with it by allowing it to be free? It is an energy that resides within you. It has always been with you, and it is being asked now to be freed as you fall into its arms, trusting it as it embraces and surrounds you and reminds you there is nothing to fear. There is nothing to fix. There is nothing to do but to simply flow and be with it. With its presence, all things dance through the light of creation, and you move with this flowing light. This light has always been with you, for it is who you are. Feeling that love, being that love, knowing that love, it begins to expand and radiate through the fields of creation and the lines and the meridians and the grid lights that move through the systems of your matter and form, merging and lighting up like the roots through the earth, grids of systems turning on the codes of light in this deep remembering. And in doing so, the incoherent energy begins to return to love itself. That same energy floating through all things and arising into the higher dimensions begins to cascade a light of an emanation of knowing in which the matrix of control that disconnected you from the source of creation itself begin to dissolve and are no longer the operating system in which you are moving through or functioning in. That operating system in its window is closing, and the new upgraded operating system, which is the backlog of the coding that has always been present, becomes visible as you remember that it has always been there, and it is your source that moves you through all things. You are aligning with that operating system, and as more and more of you attune to that code of light, those codes become the reality of the experience felt and perceived through matter as it dances through creation in a new unified field, attuned to what was and always has been yourself in the formation of a unified light, where the compassion in one's heart is simply there, not to gain or to feel or to know, but simply to remember that it is. Allowing yourself to be connected to that, feeling this sensation, you may return over and over to this transmission to continue to strengthen your connection to that frequency of the code creation. This brings you into a harmonized field that reigns love and peace around all of those you attune and connect with, and the earth systems, the elements, and the collective consciousness as a whole. Allow creation to be your guide. Allow every word, every thought, every movement to be guided as you are aligning with the flow and synchronicity of creation itself as it guides you through your day and your breath, your movement and your being. May you remember that there is nothing to consume or to get or to fix, for it has always been right there. It is yours in your willingness to receive, to allow, and to know that it is your birthright, that you are an abundant being of light. And so it is. With that, you may take a nice deep breath, breathing in creation itself, coming back into conscious awareness. And as you begin to come into conscious awareness, opening your eyes, become aware of the field around you, the field of creation itself, and what you have chosen to create with that field, that you are the master of it, and that you are attuned and a part of it. And so it is. Breathing in and letting go. Thank you so much for connecting in this energetic sphere of creation together. May we hold this high vibration wherever we go and continue to gather in community to expand upon it. So I wish everybody a very beautiful Sunday afternoon or evening, wherever you are in the world. The Master Ascension Light Code Oracle will be ready at the end of the week for everybody to play with the light codes and hold them in their hands. If you're in the US, I think they're up on the site, but they're not fully ready for delivery yet. I love you all. Have a beautiful day. I will unmute you and I'll see you next Sunday. And let's gather for the full moon. Let's do that, okay, on Thursday. I'll send out an email, so keep your eye out for what time. That would be great. All right. Thanks, everybody. You're